Welcome back to another video at Project House number 3. And today we're going to be turning in this bathroom from looking like this into looking like this. This video is going to take you guys through the whole process of this transformation, as well as give a full cost breakdown at the end. Let me know what you guys think of this style video. This is my first time doing this more start to finish project. But let's get into it. So started off by painting, and I lost a lot of footage here because of an LED light. It caused a lot of banding in my video. So I just had to take some clips from some other videos. But that was Mavis in there, putting on a little bit of paint around the ceiling, and then I'm in there now, going around the edges. She was rolling, I was cutting in. So the first thing I always like to do is get the paint done first. So I worked on getting the paint done, got the ceiling done. It ended up taking 2 coats on the ceiling. Then once the ceiling was done, I taped everything off, primered the walls to get it ready for paint. I will show you this tile. Used this Rust-Oleum product. It was about $36 on Amazon. It was a 2-part, and it completely changed it. It does go on, it did have some old paint marks and stuff from the previous paint, so I sanded that down some, got it looking a little bit better, but that was after the first coat there. So now everything's taped off, everything's primed. The next step will be putting the wall color paint on, and when the wall paint goes on, it really makes this look like a completely different space. Went with the color in here called Livable Green. Mavis actually picked it out. She picked out the colors and finishes and everything that went into this bathroom. Mavis picked it out. And on a side note, I'm going to try to add like chapter titles. You guys can jump around, see what you want to see. Like if you want to see just painting, jump to the painting. If you want to see just the vanity install, you can go to that. If you just want to see the price breakdown, it will jump you to the end and you can just see the price breakdown. I'm going to give that a try. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. Obviously, I got to film this video, upload it to YouTube, and then I can try to put those chapter titles in. So if it works out, it works out. If not, it didn't work out. And you guys let me know in the comments, do you like this style video? What would make it better, etc., etc., etc. And then here you see I'm just painting in these cracks because this was paneling. So it has a lot of cracks or seams, and the roller doesn't cover it super well. So I pre-painted all of those in the top and bottom, and then I get started rolling it on. I ended up putting 2 coats on the wall. The ceiling was 3 coats, but the wall I put a coat of primer on and then 2 coats of paint, and it covered it pretty well. And this was a paint I got at Lowe's. It was a Sherwin-Williams paint. I liked it a lot better than the paint I've been using for the rest of the house, so that was a plus. But here you just see me rolling on the paint, and it makes this look like a completely different space. The yellow was, I would say, a little bit dated, and this gives it a little more modern and cleaner look. Rather than everything being yellow, you got a couple different dimensions. And then here's just a look around after it's painted. It turned out really good. So the next step I'm going to get started on doing is putting a light right there. So let's get into that. The first thing I do here, once I get that plate, is make sure the power's off and dead. I always like to double check that. Then I'm just going to get the new light wired up, the wire nuts on, some electrical tape on there. Then I had a little bit of trouble with this bracket. I had it on rotating 90 degrees the first time, so then I had to move it and change it. Then I had to keep adjusting it to get it level. It took quite a few tries to get it level and perfect, but I finally did end up getting it. I would say that's probably one downside to this light, but it turned out good and it works good. It's just tough to get level. right off the bat. I got that in, it's working. Now I'm going to get started taking off all of this tape. Sometimes I use a little razor blade on the edges to get a nice clean pull off. Sometimes it'll peel off clean by itself, but sometimes a little bit of the razor blade on the edge helps give it a nice clean look. This is just a little walk around after the tape is all off, the light's on. This is already looking like a completely new bathroom. That wall tile is looking a lot better. So now, the next step, we're going to get started on the floor. So I rip off this underlayment that was there before. It was kind of crappy. And then I vacuum up, make sure it's super clean. Then I got started undercutting the door jambs. I did this one first, and then I'll do the second one a little bit later. So after that's cut in, you can see the first tile just slides right under there. I'm using a Smart Core, it's called Smart Core tile. It's a mineral core tile, so it's rather than a vinyl, it's a mineral core. It's a lot more sturdy. It's the first time I've been using this, and I was honestly really impressed with it. The finished product is great. The only thing I didn't love about it was cutting it with the saw. It wore through the blades like crazy. I'm putting this in the upstairs bathroom as well, so I got a different saw blade to try for that. But what I did is I flipped it down upside down so the smooth side was on the saw, and I just ripped them down with the table saw. That I found was the best way to do it, to get my end pieces and the start pieces. And I always use these little tools to push it so I don't get my hands next to the blade. But this is just the first row going in. I want to make sure it's nice and clean under there. I don't want any debris or anything because that'll mess up the floor. This floor goes in super easy, looks super good once it's done. And it's not like, with the typical vinyl floor, it's not like real hard and solid like tile. But with this stuff, it's really nice, really hard, really solid. And here's a little trick I like to use, is just a little scrap of the flooring. And then I run my multi-tool blade right along that. And that'll give me the exact perfect undercut for this to just slide right under every time. The jigsaw also comes in handy for cutting around door jambs, and it came in handy on this for cutting around the toilet flange as well. So definitely, if you're doing this, I'd recommend having a jigsaw as well as a table saw. Here's the final look at the flooring. You see over there on the right side, it has that little gap, but it's looking really good. It goes really well with the paint color and that tile wall. I'm really happy with it. It turned out excellent. And right here, I'm just going to put the baseboard up, and then I'm just going to use a piece of cord around versus ripping down a bunch more of those tiles, because it's going to be hidden by the vanity and the toilet. And I like having the whole full pieces on the left where you're going to be able to see it versus having a half piece there and a half piece there. I think it looks a lot better having full piece and full piece. So if it did need a little sliver there, I would have put a little sliver in, but it's going to be perfectly fine with just the baseboard and the cord around. So now I'm going to get started on cutting that baseboard and installing that. And this bathroom really goes together really quick. So I'm cutting these all at 45-degree angles because I don't have any real unusual. Where I do have baseboard sticking out, I'll back bevel the end a little bit and cut the face so it gives you something nice and smooth. You don't hit against. What you see on the right here, I have it cut at a 45-degree angle right at the end where it meets the wood, so then it's not a sharp point to get hit. I got that blue tape there just so I know where to line it up, because I marked it and then put this in, and then the vanity will go in. So just make sure I get the right clearances for the vanity. And this hole here, I'm just going to fill in with caulking. That I think is the best way to do it, because I have this bead here. I didn't see any effective way to get that cut without causing a lot of damage to it. So I'm just going to fill that in with caulking. I just need to cut a few more pieces here. I'll get the rest attached, and then I'll have the baseboards done. This is very simple as long as you have a miter saw, box saw, chop saw, whatever you want to call it. Cut at 90 degrees and 45 degrees. And then I'm just using a nail gun, 18 gauge to get it tacked in. After it's all tacked in, I just go back with some caulking, fill in the cracks, and also fill in along the top. It all turned out super well. So after I end up getting all of this caulking completed, I'm going to get started on the vanity. I'm using Lexil. It's pretty much my favorite thing to use right now. It seems to work for just about everything. It's a little bit on the pricier side, but I think it's worth it. I'm not sponsored by them, but if they want to sponsor me, I would love it. So I'm putting a little bit on the vanity top as well as the actual sink itself, and then I'm going to press it into place, and I'll put a little bit on that tile backsplash again. And for those of you that don't know, this is just what holds the vanity top to the vanity. It's kind of like glued on. So I'm going to get this all on here, and then I can put the vanity top in place. I did put the faucet in the sink or the vanity countertop prior to installing it, because that just was a little bit easier than going up underneath it after the fact. So what I'm doing now is just getting all in place, making sure it's all tight the best I can get it, making sure I have a good reveal on each side. It's looking pretty good. So now that that's in place, set in place, press it down a little bit. And I'm just going to put a little bit of caulking along the back just to prevent any water getting back behind it. This is the sink, so water could easily get splashed up there. So I just want to put a little bead of caulking along the back to keep that out. Now what I'm going to do is start installing the drain. I'm using Lexil again for this. Like I said, I really like it. If you guys have something you like better, feel free to recommend it down in the comments. That's just what I like. So once I get that around there, I'm just going to press it in, attach the bottom, and then I'm going to wait till tomorrow to get started on the rest of it for all that silicone to set up. I will say I did get the toilet installed. It's working great. There you can see, flushing, working, good to go. That was off camera. This is the next day, and I'm going to get started putting on these supply lines as well as the drain P-trap. So to get started, this all goes very simple and easy. It's just a matter of cutting down this PVC a little bit, putting the washer on, and then just screwing them tight. I did see they have a new product that's a push to connect for the fitting going up and into the wall, but you still have the twist on in the middle. That could be good for like homeowners, but these are really simple. As long as you get the gasket facing the right direction, there's no real problem. Now I'm just putting on the supply lines, tightening them up, getting it all good to go, and this bathroom's pretty much wrapped up. The bathroom is now complete. Well, 99% of the way complete. I'll show you a look at the floor first. The only thing left, there will be a transition here, and on the vanity, I need to get a pull for the vanity. Besides that, it's all wrapped up. The color combo on this turned out really good. Did these green walls with the white tile, black light, black mirror, black accents. I think it turned out really well. And just so everybody can see, everything's working good. Toilet's flushing. Hot water. Cold water. Oh, slam that thing down. But everything's working well. Everything turned out really good. Oh, there's a Milwaukee light down here, not really doing much good. Wow, look at that. You can get these lights for like 20 bucks on eBay.
Really nice, without the battery, obviously. But plumbing's done. There's that little corner detail. Turned out really, really good.
Let me know in the comments what you think of this bathroom remodel. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, let's get into the price breakdown. So for the price breakdown, I'm going to start with the paint. The ceiling paint was about $5.18. The primer was $5.95. The wall paint was $22.09. And then the materials, tape, rollers, brushes, trays, pans, etc. was $16.99. And I used a 5-gallon paint jug, so I did account for that for this ceiling and the primer. But the total here was $53.63. Now moving on to the window and trim, there was no cost here. I just kept the existing. So for this wall tile, the cost was $36.28. It was a Rust-Oleum kit, and it turned out really good. I would definitely recommend that if you guys have tiles you want to change the color without ripping them all out. The flooring, it was Smart Core flooring. It was 2 boxes, but I only used 1 tile out of the second box. So for both boxes, it was $95.20. And I had a lot left over for the next one. So after that, I'll go to the PVC baseboards and quarter round, and that was $39.96, and then the caulk for that was $2.97. So that brought the total for that to $42.93. Now you have the toilet, which was $89.10. The wax ring was $5.58. I had to get new flange bolts because it didn't have any in it before. Those were $2.96. And then the supply line was $5.78. The vanity was $110.94. And the Lex seal that I used to secure it to the top was $10.18 for a total of $121.12. The faucet and drain kit here was $33.59. The plumbing supplies that I use, P-trap supply lines under here, came to $22.07 total. And I did have an extension as well in there. The mirror here was $43 total. It's a really nice mirror. I was actually really impressed. I got it from Home Depot online. Most of the other stuff came from Lowe's. The light here was $29.53. It's just a 2-bulb light, nice and simple. And then the final cost here is the electrical, which is this light switch and this cover. Those were $1.48 combined. So that brings the whopping total to this whole bathroom remodel, $582.25.
So that is a wrap for this bathroom. Let me know if you guys think that's a reasonable price, if you guys think that's high, what you would have done differently. Overall, I think it turned out really good. The total price ended up being
$582.25.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video, comment on this video, subscribe to this video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.